This is Outnumbered. I'm Andrea Tantaros, and here with us today, Harris Faulkner.
Hello.
She's host of the very brand new show Kennedy at 10 p.m. Eastern on our sister network, Fox Business's Kennedy. Also from FBN, host of Money with Melissa Francis, the one and only.
Group therapy?
Good to
when
see
do we
you.
start?
Oh,
it's good
right
to be
now.
here.
My goodness. It always starts when you sit down.
I always feel like she is
like
just
I'm judging you?
spoiling to have a pointed discussion with me.
Maybe she sees who you really are.
Exactly,
Oh.
Dr. Ablo.
Well, possibly.
Perhaps there are
I
two
don't
doctors
know.
on the
Seeing
couch.
directly into my soul.
I love this. Should we analyze Kennedy?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Or Doc A.
Actually, let's analyze America, shall we?
Very
do
good
that.
answer.
The national debate over vaccines now a big issue in the 2016 race. Potential White House contenders weighing in as the outbreak spreads. More than 100 cases in 14
cases. This plays very well for Dr. Ben Carson, by the way, because
wanting to say that parents have a right to do what they will with their young children, but also don't you have a right as a parent to protect other kids as well from a possible outbreak or your kid getting sick?
So I'm going to leave. I made a comment that I don't judge.
It's far enough because, I mean, I'm all for personal. We have to, as a group, you know, have some social responsibility and look out for those endangering folks who legitimately can't get it by reintroducing it to the population.
And saying if you're fine not vaccinating your kids, that's your choice. Aren't you then saying that you're not really watching what happens to your kid? Like, that could affect your child.
Well, and that's a point that people brought up.
Being professional.
It's also very dangerous not what to do
Kennedy
in every
doesn't
single
like.
day.
Kennedy does. She feels that's offensive.
Don't
the
you dare
government
put words in my
should
mouth
not-
because I will smack
the
you down. I will bring you down
government
and try
should
to
not- anything
Andrea,
that
I'm
people
going
do.
to ignore
Lex
rather
Luthor.
Judge Andrew Napolitano had it right.
Harris Faulkner.
All right, I feel like I should inject some facts here. No pun intended. It's a lot like other things we see. It's airborne, fever. If you were born before 1957, you don't, because you were exposed to it because it was so prevalent in the society. I'm hoping that those things will help as we talk about the vaccination.
Can we
itself.
go back to the is it legal aspect? If parents are not going to choose to vaccinate their kids, do schools have the right to say you cannot come to school here? And
Absolutely.
Sure
should
they do.
parents be held
Absolutely.
accountable?
Yes, absolutely. And parents should be held accountable. I mean,
I think to the judge's point, it would have to be that you knowingly had your with measles and then someone getting it would not be enough to have that person be liable. But so I don't think that the number of parents who actually know their kids have measles and send them into these settings
what
is
if
very
they know
large.
they've been exposed? I mean, what if it's someone in the family?
Well, I
mean,
think,
that's what
as
we
I
tackled with
said-
Ebola was.
That's such a great point that I'm saying we open about exposure. They're not going to be, because they're going to feel judged. You're the psychiatrist here. How do we have that language?
Everybody is talking about this clip
Yeah.
today. It's such a hot topic. Kennedy,
Yes.
shushing a woman, telling a woman to relax. All
He gets a little defensive. So I think, and I don't like the sexism that you can't shush a woman.
Okay, but this is my thing. I really didn't like her response. Okay, what was that? I would have thrown him off my show at that second.
I don't think I would have thrown him off. I just would have
I would.
challenged
I've done
him.
it before.
What is it that I'm saying that you find so offensive? And let me say it again. I mean, come on, it's
I wanna ask
television, and you
Harris,
want to get to the facts.
Wait, I want
By
to ask you
shutting them down, you
specifically,
won't get
Harris
them.
Faulkner, because you run the Fox Report. You've done so many interviews.
I've had some tough ones.
Tell me how you would have handled this.
I just told you.
No,
I
know,
doubled
but
down with it.
Have you ever dealt with this before?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yes. And you double down. What am I saying that you find so offensive? Why don't you want to answer it? Let's get into it right now. And by the way, I'm not going to shush. So
I have
a
spare me.
different-
I had the same
reading.
kind of response with Barney Frank, where we did it with.
I have a
have to shush him.
completely different take on this, right? And I don't know if it relates to my gender or the fact that I would take it all in good humor and I think it's sort of playful and warm. Like, it's almost
look
like
that
what you would
playful and
do when
warm.
you're at home. You'd be like, come on, shh, come on. It wouldn't bother me. I
Really?
don't find it that demeaning to be shushed. If someone said you're an idiot, hey, look, okay, now wait a second.
Well, I think it's sometimes it can be in a
I
place
feel
of
it's
that.
kind of-
Wait.
But when you watch the interview, it happened
Hang on.
repeatedly.
Have you ever shushed your wife?
No, I
The interview
You know
that
what
you
I'm
and I
really
did together
fascinated-
last year, Dr.
Did I do
Ablo.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you need therapeutic intervention
Okay, very good.
and prescribing.
Hey,
We're not talking about
Harris wants to talk.
real
Sorry.
quickly. We're not
I-
talking about the substance of what he said anymore. All we're talking about is the fact that he shushed this host. So if he had a message to get out, he just killed it.
What if it was a man? What if it were a male
It
host?
wouldn't
Fine.
matter.
Would he having-
Disrespect is
No.
equal gender.
Yeah,
Okay, very good. That is an
I
acceptable
have
answer.
to agree with
I just don't think
Harris.
we'd be
I
talking
was
about it.
joking with all of you, but I agree with you. It's a respect thing for a man or a woman.
Right.
You should not shush someone or
ridiculous
tell them
behavior.
to calm down. It is. It's disrespectful.
Playful. disrespectful.
I think it's sexy.
On to more disrespectful behavior. The NFL season may be over, but not the season for negative headlines.
Here you have a guy who has left the NFL and has a hard time ever since he's been away from the league, and one
Warren
who
Sapp.
just
and
that's
while he
Warren
was in,
Sapp.
actually, while he was in as well. I mean, he's always had a hard time.
But Johnny Manziel, you know, in his rookie season, didn't play particularly well in the 3 games that he started in.
Yeah,
what is it about the league?
You've got.
Yeah, if you're winning and playing well.
But early on, it was PR.
To some extent, women in professional sports, but they're deified, right? And so when you're looking for a singular kind of talent and you ignore character, what you end up with are people who feel entitled to break the rules, right? They feel like superheroes, and no doubt they're built up in that way.
From the time they're kids, really.
From the time they're kids. And then you add head trauma. I mean, I know it sounds like head trauma. We know that leads to impulsivity. I'm not blaming it all on that, but it's something to look into.
I would hope not.
And by the way, prostitution, hiring a prostitute, millions of American executives do it all the time. We got to look into that law, because I don't like arresting people for victimless crimes.
I was
Well,
specifically talking about the assault.
Yeah, there was
No,
assault.
yeah, and
No,
that's the problem.
absolutely. Just go online. There
Photographs
are
apparently of
escorts
some
all over
markings
the
on from
universe.
there. Yeah.
All right, very good. Not good. I mean, this is absolutely horrible. It's
terrible, but
unconscionable.
maybe Johnny will get the help he needs.
All right, we're going to break back in now with what is breaking this hour. And I mentioned moments ago we're waiting for the State Department to step up and speak about the brutal killing of this Jordanian pilot who was taken by Islamic State terrorists. But now we're expecting President